lines. IGP tax states incredible officers for community policing, and two military officers killed, one abducted as bandits attack NDA Kaduna. And on the foreign scene, Afghanistan refugee arrive in Uganda. And on the world of sport, Real Madrid bid €137 million for Paris Saint-Germain forward. And moving on to the news in details. Inspector General of Police Usman Baba Al Khali yesterday urged state government and police officers to ensure their persons engaged for community policing are people with proven character and integrity. Al Khali said the federal government has adopted community policing to check crime and criminality, adding that the practice has become obtainable in most parts of the world. He said this when he addressed officers and men of the command during a visit to Edo State, where he said statistics showed reduction in the level of crime in some parts of the country compared to when he first assumed office. Following the IGP's comments, Governor Godwin Obaseki appealed to the Nigerian army to set up a base in the crime-prone areas of the state, especially on the Benin-Auchi road axis. He made the appeal yesterday when the Chief of Army Staff, Farouk Yaya, and other senior officers visited him at the government house in Benin City. Obaseki, however, commended the police for his efforts and commended the collaboration between the police and other security agencies in fighting crime in the state. And the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, says the Army needs to become more tactful, ingenious, and innovative in its operations to be able to tackle the current security challenges in the country. Yaya said this when he declared open the 22nd Combat Service Support Training Week at the School of Supply and Transport on Tuesday in Benin. The Coas in a statement said it's expedient for the Army to continue to improve on the existing structure while also developing more efficient ways of addressing contemporary and emerging challenges. According to him, more than ever before, the Nigerian army is currently engaged in several theaters of operations with corresponding demands in logistics. He also thanked Governor Godwin Obaseki for gracing the ceremony and commended him for his donation of 20-bedroom accommodation to the School of Supply and Transport and other. Bandits have, in the early hours of Tuesday, attacked the permanent site of the Nigerian Defense Academy, NDA Kaduna. Two officers were killed during the attack, while another was abducted. A source told journalists that the bandits were disguised in military uniform, came to the NDA in a vehicle and headed to the officers' quarters. The bandits were said to have shot sporadically, causing fear and confusion in the academy, which is located not very far from the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka. The Academy Public Relations Officer, Major Bashir Mood Jijara, has assured the general public that this unknown gunman would soon be apprehended and the abducted personnel rescued. You are still listening to the midday news on T Solid Radio. Still to come is the foreign and sport news. Do remember to download our app T Solid on Play Store and log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can as well follow us on our various social media platforms on our T Solid Radio TV. And moving on to the foreign scene. The first group of 51 evacuees from Afghanistan have arrived in Uganda. Uganda's foreign ministry said in a statement that the group landed at Entebbe International Airport aboard a private chartered flight today. The ministry says the group is transiting through Uganda and will move on to the United States and other countries. It is not clear for how long they will be hosted in Uganda. The statement added that the evacuees included men, women and children who have undergone COVID 19 testing and will go under quarantine. The evacuation followed the American government's request to Ugandan to take in some of the people fleeing the crisis in Afghanistan since the Taliban takeover. Meanwhile, last week, a Ugandan junior government official told reporters that Uganda was to take in 2,000 Afghan refugees as the request of the United States government, but several senior officials later said discussion on the issue were still underway. According to reports, Uganda hosts over 1 million refugees who have fled several conflicts and other disasters across Eastern Africa. Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte has declared that he will run for vice president next year to continue his crusade against drug and insurgents, a move critics said was a smokescreen and driven by fear of criminal charges. Dotted, who was elected in 2016 and is barred under the Constitution from seeking another term, has previously flagged the possibilities of contesting the country's second highest office. Since taking power, Dotted has waged a bloody campaign against drug users and dealers that right groups estimate has killed tens of thousands of people, while the International Criminal Court prosecutors are seeking to launch a full blown investigation into the killings. Rwanda will host thousands of schoolgirls being relocated from Afghanistan following the takeover of their country by Taliban militants. Shabana Rashid Sarisk, the founder of a privately run school of leadership Afghanistan, said on Tuesday that about 250 students, staff, and family members were en route to Rwanda through Qatar to begin a semester abroad for the entire student body. Rwanda's education ministry has tweeted a message of welcome to the Shola community, while the school founder said they hope to reset it temporarily and will return to Afghanistan when the situation permitted. Afghans have been growing desperate to leave their country in fear of living under Taliban rule, and thousands have been evacuated to other countries. The Taliban, which enforced a strict version of Islamic law when they ran Afghanistan before 2001, retook full control of the country more than a week ago. The ambassador of Cuba to Nigeria, Clara Escandel, has said that Cuba has developed 5 COVID-19 vaccines, with two already approved by the medical authority of the country. Escadel made this known when she visited President of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Al Mutaba Abubakar, to strengthen partnership with the chamber. She listed the vaccines as Sobrana 01, Sobrana 02, Mambisa, Sobrana Plus, and Abdala. She noted that three of the vaccines had been approved and have shown high level of efficacy. Escandel added that Sobrana 02 had been approved with 91.2% efficacy, Sobrana Plus 92.28%, and Abdala 100% efficacy. She extended her country's readiness to support Nigeria and other African countries in the area of health facilities, especially on COVID-19 vaccines and pharmaceuticals. Skandal expressed readiness to partner with ACCI and took into areas where members could benefit, adding that she believed the embassy could be a good bridge for Cuba and Nigeria. She has called for signing of memorandum of understanding between Cuba Chamber of Commerce and ACCI. Ivory Coast's first person to test positive for Ebola since 1994 has now recovered, the health ministry says. The 18-year-old woman from Guinea had traveled to Abidjan by bus 2 weeks ago and then tested positive for the hemorrhagic disease. Ivory Coast immediately had a vaccine drive to cover people who would had contact with the visitors and security forces on the border with Guinea. The woman has now had two negative tests, so her isolation has been lifted. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Guinea itself are reported to be the two African countries affected by Ebola this year. Moving on to the world of sport, Real Madrid has made a 137 million euro bid to sign Paris Saint-Germain forward Kylian Mbappe. The French World Cup winner, who is 22 years, joined PSG in 2017 in a transfer worth 165.7 million euro, and his contract expires in June 2022. Mbappe has scored 133 goals in 174 games for PSG and won 3 Ligue 1 titles and 3 French Cups. Real Madrid, who have debt of around 1 billion euro, have so far only signed defender David Alaba on a free transfer from Bayern Munich this summer. However, Arena, Sergio Ramos, and Rafael Varane have moved on to PSG and Manchester United respectively, and Real evidently feels sufficiently confident about their finances to make an approach for one of the most highly rated players in the world. PSG, who have not yet responded to the bid, signed Argentina forward Lionel Messi earlier this month after he left Barcelona. If Real are successful, it could trigger a number of deals before the transfer deadline. And finally, International Paralympic Committee (IPC) spokesman Craig Spence has said that records of 4,403 athletes are competing at the Tokyo Paralympics Games, which began on Tuesday night. According to Spence in a press conference, that they are to have 4,403 athletes from 162 delegations competing over the next 12 days, adding that it is a record the most number of athletes ever to compete at the Paralympic Games. He also added that there are 2,550 male athletes and 1,853 female athletes, and has record participation of female athletes, while with 1,853 female athletes that beats the previous record of 1,671 women that competed at Rio 2016, noting that Japan has the biggest delegation, 254 athletes across 23 disciplines. With that, we've come to the end of the news. A recap of the major headline. IGP tax states on credible officers for community policing. 2 military officers killed, one abducted as bandits attack NDA Kaduna. And on the foreign scene, Afghanistan refugee arrive in Uganda. And on the world of sport, Real Madrid bid 137 million euro for Paris Saint-Germain forward. Ensure to go by all precautionary measures to stay safe from COVID-19 as recommended by the World Health Organization and the Nigerian Center for Disease Control. Do remember to download our app T-Solid on Play Store or log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can as well follow us on our social media platforms on our T-Solid Radio TV. The news was compiled and edited by Akachi Chijioke. I am Joy Akin Olamigoki. Good afternoon and many thanks for listening.